Hi, I'm Coach Katie with Club Cal Online. I'm here with Crystal. Today we're going to be doing a mobility 360, so we're going to be hitting a little bit from head to toe. So let's begin with a quick warm-up. If you're following from home, today I have a lighter weight dumbbell and I have 2 heavier weight dumbbells, but if you're using stuff at home, you can use a water bottle or feel free to not use dumbbells at all. All of these work with or without. I also have an elevated surface. We're using a block. If you're at home, you can use the arm of your couch or whatever elevated surface you have. If you have yoga blocks, that works as well. So we're just gonna start with our lightweight dumbbell. We're gonna begin with some shoulder work. I'm gonna have Crystal just do nice slow circles, rotating at the top and coming back around. We're gonna do 5 circles to the back. You can twist and open your chest as you're going back, but really feel the rotation of the shoulder at the top of this movement as you're going down. Very nice. Making sure you're shrugging at the top and really feeling that rotation. Once you're done with 5 circles to the back, we're gonna go ahead and go to the front. Same thing, rotate and shrug at the top. Nice and slow, feeling that movement in that shoulder girdle. 5 going to the front. She's doing a nice open chest as she comes back and rotating fully. Very nice. Once we've done 5 on that arm, we're going to go ahead and do the other arm, starting to the back. Same thing, nice and slow, opening up the chest and rolling around. Very nice. Nice, long, tall, shrugging, locked elbows. 5 to the back. Very nice, and then 5 to the front, rotating through that top portion of the circle. Good, really opening up the shoulders. Very nice. We're gonna take the same dumbbell and we're gonna go ahead and lay on the floor. I'm gonna have Crystal lay on her side. The dumbbell is going to be on the bottom arm, and I have her elbow come right in front of her shoulder, and we're going to bend the elbow at a 90-degree bend and turn the hand this way. We're going to try and make sure that the shoulder stays pushed into the floor. We're avoiding the shoulder lifting up as we're going through these motions. So I'm going to have her go palm to the floor as far as she can until that shoulder starts to lift, and we're going to stop. And then she's going to come back up, go all the way to the floor, and back down. We're going to do 5 rotations in this position. Good, really feeling, making sure the shoulder is staying, or the elbow is staying in line with the shoulder, keeping that 90-degree bend. You also want to make sure in this movement that the wrist is staying nice and straight and we're not bending in the wrist. She's doing a great job with that. Good, we're doing 5 and then we're going to switch arms. Nice roll. Good. She's got the elbow nice in line with the shoulder, keeping the back of the shoulder pushed into the floor. Tight. You will usually have one tighter shoulder than the other. Very nice. Good, and then we're gonna go ahead and put our dumbbell to the side. I'm gonna have Crystal go ahead and sit on her bottom. Hands are gonna be behind you, fingers facing backwards. I'm gonna have her just do table rock. She's gonna lift her hips up and she's gonna rotate and pull her shoulders together in a retracted position, really opening up the chest, lifting the hips all the way up, squeezing, and then coming back down to a protracted position. We're gonna do 10 here. So that was 1, good, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Very nice. Okay, so now this next movement, we're gonna stay in the top part of the table position, and I'm gonna have her roll her shoulders forward and backwards while we are keeping the hips up. Squeezing here, and she's gonna roll the shoulders forward and open. Good, we're doing 10 in this position. That's 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good, go ahead and relax. Yeah, in that position, you really want to make sure that you're isolating that movement in the shoulders and trying not to let the rest of your body dip down so much. It might be a little bit of a smaller movement, and that's totally okay. The next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna go back up into that table position, last one, and we're gonna lean our hips forward and backwards. So we're doing table rocks, just going forward and backwards. Very nice, leaning back, yep, awesome. So we're going behind the wrist and we're going in front of the wrist. We're doing 10 in this position as well. Is this 4? Okay. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yeah, lots of cracks. Good. Okay, now we're going to move to a forward position. I'm going to have her go into a plank, and we're going to do shoulder shrugs in the plank position. So now we're just going the opposite direction. She's going to do 10 shrugs just up and down. 1, and she has her hips nice and tight and open. 2, good. 3, elbows are locked. 4, her head is in a neutral position. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and release. We're gonna go back up into that position after we've rested, and I'm gonna have her do 5 circles in each direction. Circles can be really challenging, so if you find it hard to get that circle position, try and draw a square with your shoulders. So going forward, up, back, and down. Kind of think of it as a square movement until that circle becomes a little bit more fluid. So I'm going to have Crystal go up and show the circles. We're doing 5 to the back and 5 to the front. 1, good. 2, good. She's going up to her ears, retracting down, good. 4, 5, I think I'm off count. There's 5. Now the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Awesome. We've been on our wrists for a little while, so we're just going to stretch out the wrist. We're going to flip the hands over, fingers towards your knees, and we're just going to make 10 fists in this position. Squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And we're going to turn the fingers in, and we're going to get 10 wrist push-ups. So we're going to lift up and open 10 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Awesome. We're going to move to the upper back, the thoracic part of the spine. I'm going to have Crystal go into a cat position. So she's going to go on her knees, and she's going to push her chest to the ground. Oh, sorry, other one where you're in the upper back stretch. Yep. In this one, so she's going to push her chest to the ground, and then she's going to lift back up into that plank position here, and then go back down into that upper arch. We're going to do 10, coming down into the arch, and then coming back up, and really feeling it in that upper back, pushing down, ribcage down. She opens her chest. Good. That was 3, 4, 5, 6, good, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And this one we're going to hold, and I'm going to have her walk her knees back just a little bit so her hips are stacked on her knees, and really push that chest into the ground. We're going to hold this position for 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. From here, we're going to do the same movement, but we're going to move it to a wall. So if you're at home, let's find a wall space. So we're going to come to the wall. She's going to put her hands up as high as she can, reaching up Very nice. She's a little bit away from the wall, and we're just gonna push the chest into the wall and arch the back. Good. Her feet are a little far away, so maybe we'll go in just a little bit more. There we go. And trying to keep the hips stacked on top of the knees and ankles, pushing the chest into the wall. Good. And then release. Come to that hollow. Push the chest down into the wall. This is 3. We're doing 10 in this position. 4. Good. 5. Nice. 6. 7. 8. 9. And 10. Again, we're going to hold in this position for 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Good. Now this is where we're going to come to our block. So if you have your elevated surface, whether it's the arm of your chair, if you have yoga blocks, stack a couple on top, or if you have any elevated surface, should work just fine. So we're going to take this right here. Excellent. And I'm going to have Crystal sit on this side. And you can see that the block is right in the kind of the base of that rib cage. So let's scoot in just a little bit more. Good. I'm going to have her arms reach up over her head. If this position is uncomfortable for you, you can have your arms out to the side. This can also be good if you have a partner that they can kind of help assist with your arms going backwards. So she's just going to arch and try and arch over the block and then release back up. That's 1. We're doing 10. And 2. Good. Nice and open. 3. 4. Good. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. And 10. And hold in this position. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Awesome. That can also be done with a dumbbell if you don't have a partner to assist you, or just working really activating in that upper back position. Last one we're going to do with the upper back, I'm going to have her actually lay on top of the elevated surface, just your upper back on the elevated surface. So scoot down just a little bit. Yep, right there. And this can be good to have 2 dumbbells in your arms. Would you like 2 dumbbells or just my hands?
Just your hands.
Okay, so arms are going to be right overhead. And from here, I'm going to have her see if she can release her hips down to the floor and really get an arch in that upper back and then lift back up. Good. 1. Good. 2. And 3. Good. 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and then we'll go down and we're going to hold 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Good. How you feeling?
Good. That's great.
Nice and open.
Yeah.
Okay, and now we're just gonna do the opposite direction. We're just gonna do 10 cat-cows. So just rounding and arching, rounding and arching. Good. 2, we're doing 10 here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. If you're on a harder surface, this is where you'll want to grab your yoga mat if you have one. If not, just a softer surface to help protect your knees in any of these positions that we're going to do. So I'm going to have Crystal start. You will use the block eventually, but we're not going to use it quite yet. So Crystal, I'm going to have your back leg be here and front leg right here. We're doing both legs in this position, so you can start with whichever one you'd like. So we're gonna go into our lunge, and I'm gonna actually have her push this leg slightly out to the side. You can use your hand. Yep, one hand down and one hand, and you're just pushing over to the side. Good, and then pulling it back in. We're doing 10, just push to the side and pull back in. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then we're going to hold here for 20 seconds. Good. And you're keeping that back hip open, not letting the whole body rotate to the side, just really pushing. You should feel this in the side of your hip on the front leg, and you'll get a nice little hip flexor stretch with that back leg. We're going to go for 3, 2, 1, and release. Good. We're going to switch legs and do it on the other leg. And same thing, she has her opposite arm down on the ground, and she's pushing out to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We're holding for 20. Good. Yeah, it should feel really good. Especially if you just did a leg workout. And we have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Good. We're going to elevate that movement, so I'm going to have Crystal turn around. We're going to use the block, or you can use your couch on an elevated surface. So she's going to bring her leg up right there, and I'm going to have her move her foot over to this side. Good, and then we're just going to bring the knee down. Yes, and then pull back up. Oop. Yep, just do small movements here. It doesn't need to go all the way up. Yep, just come down and then pull back up. Good, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We're going to hold for 20. In this position, you really want to see if you can get your knee and your ankle in line. There you go. Yes, nice. And this one is tough because we're usually pretty tight in this motion, so for most people it's not going to go all the way down. And go ahead and release. And we're going to switch legs. Good, bring it all the way, awesome. Knee is in line with the ankle, and she's letting the knee dip down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and hold 20 seconds. Very nice.
Super tight in that hip.
Yes,
Man.
it's a tough position.
Great. So good.
And release. Good. Okay, I'm gonna have Crystal turn around, and I'm gonna have her put her back leg up, and she's gonna scoot her knee all the way into the mat, right there. And we want the shin in line here, so then she's gonna put her front foot up, and we're just gonna sit up really tall. We're gonna keep the glutes right into the heel, and I'm just gonna have her squeeze her glutes and tuck her pelvis under, and this is gonna hit more of the quads as you're squeezing and tucking that glute underneath. And we're gonna hold this position for 30 seconds. Good, really trying to watch the opposite hip. Sometimes it wants to hike up a little bit. Really try and keep your hips nice and even, chest up tall, and really tucking that pelvis underneath and squeezing and pushing those hips open so you're hitting that quad. You're more than halfway done. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to stay on this leg, but I'm going to have her move her knee forward so that it's just a slight bend in the knee. So this knee.
Oh.
Yep, scoot it forward. Yep, just right there. So it's just at a little bit of an angle. And now we're going to push the hips forward into a deeper lunge so that we hit more of the hip flexor position. Again, if we want to try and keep our chest up as tall as we can, just so it continues that stretch in the hip flexor. So her chest is up nice and tall. Squeezing that glute, pushing the hips open. We're doing 30 seconds in this position as well. Good. And with the front leg, you want to make sure that the knee is right in line with the ankle, which she's great at. It's not too far forward, it's not too far back. And you can scoot forward as much as you need to in this position to decrease the stretch a little bit and lessen that angle of the back leg. Go ahead and release, and we're going to switch legs. Starting with that first position, good, knee all the way in. We're sitting up tall, trying to get the glutes into the heel, and then tuck that pelvis underneath. Good. Good, again, watching that opposite hip, trying to keep the hips nice and even. Her chest is up nice and tall, squeezing, tucking that tailbone. We have 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, and we're going to scoot the knee away from the block, just so we're at a little bit less of an angle. Foot forward and pushing the hips open. Chest is up nice and tall. We are holding 30 seconds here. Good. And we're halfway. And you can see Crystal has a nice, even her foot's not going inward towards her glutes and it's not going outwards. It's right in line, a nice straight line in the back. And 3, 2, 1, and release. Good. We're going to go ahead and get rid of our block because we don't need it. We're going to go into a bent leg split, which it sounds scary. We're not doing the splits, so don't worry. We're just doing a bent leg split. It's a modified version of a split. So I'm going to have her back knee on the mat. And you can stay facing sideways. We're still going to go forward this way. Yeah. Yep, so 1 foot forward here. Good, she's going to keep this angle, and she's just going to start to slide the foot out. Little by little, sliding the foot out. Good, and sitting right there. So we're in a slight, it's not stacked right on top of the ankle, it's going forward. In this position, we're going to try and sit up as tall as we can. This is where if you have yoga blocks, you can put your hands on the yoga blocks if you're a little bit higher. In this position, really making sure that we're pushing the hip flexors down and feeling that nice open stretch in that position. She has her knee in line here. We're not inward, we're not really far outward. We're just kind of right in line with that ankle. We're going to hold this position for 30 seconds. Good, really trying to make sure she has her right leg in front, so her left leg making sure that that hip stays tucked under and we're not opening to the side. Really trying to keep that square hip position. And we are halfway. This is a good one just to hit that back leg. It takes out the stretch of the front leg and really just lets you focus on that back leg. 3, 2, 1, and release. Good. We're going to go ahead and switch legs. Good. Starting in that lunge, making sure that that hip is nice and square and her back leg is straight behind her. It's not going inward or outward, and then she slid her foot out. 30 seconds here. This is great. Her knee is not rotating inward. Really watch that. The front knee tends to want to rotate inward. Good. And her back hip is nice and square. And we're halfway. Very nice. 10 seconds. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Good. And actually I lied, we're gonna have the elevated surface again. You don't need the elevated surface. I like it just to have a little bit of extra height. So I'm gonna have her go on her knee and her front leg is gonna go up and her front leg is gonna be straight. So just her, yep, and let's scoot back just a little bit. And then scoot this foot back too. Yep, so hip is stacked right on top of her knee. I'm gonna have her flex her foot so that the whole foot is flexed. When we flex our foot, we tend to wanna curl it this way. So really pull the entire foot back, just lengthening that. I'm gonna have her start sitting up tall. We're gonna slightly untuck the pelvis and we're gonna try and lean forward, keeping that straight back as much as you can. This is gonna lengthen the backside of the leg. When we hunch over, it kind of decreases that stretch of that back leg. And holding. Good. Yep, really trying to pull that pinky toe side of the foot back. And her hips are stacked right on top of her knee. Her hips are nice and square. And we'll go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. And we're gonna switch legs. Good. Starting sitting up tall, flex the foot, untuck the pelvis slightly, and then lean forward with that nice flat back, keeping that foot flexed. Good. And this can be done on the floor as well. If you don't have an elevated surface, your heel can stay on the floor and you can do the same thing. Just really make sure that we're focusing on that back staying nice and straight and we're not hunching over. We're halfway. 10 seconds. And 3, 2, 1, and release. Good. Now we're gonna get rid of the block. All right, so we're gonna go through some dynamic movement through this. I'm gonna have Crystal lay on her back and her elbows are gonna go behind. And you can lay down on your elbows. Yep. So we're gonna start with just leg kicks on each leg. We're gonna do 10 leg kicks, just kicking up and down. One leg will stay down. Yep, just kicking up and down. 1, 2, good. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And we're gonna switch legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Now we're gonna add a little circle to it. I'm gonna have her bend one of the legs and keep her foot flat on the floor, just give you a little bit of extra balance. That leg is gonna lift up to her face, circle around, and then come back down. Good. We're doing 5 going in this direction. This is 2, 3, 4, and 5, and now we're gonna go the other direction, coming out and going up. Good. 1, 2, and you can see she's rotating through her hips, turning out, rotating, and then coming back to parallel. Turn out and up. Good. And rotating and back to parallel. Good. And now we're gonna switch legs, and she lifts up, circles around. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Other direction. She turns out, rotates the hips back to parallel. 1, 2, 3, 4. You got long legs.
I know.
and 5. Awesome. I'm going to have her go on her side now. And the base leg is going to be bent, and that just gives you some balance here. And you can have that front arm down on the floor, and she's on her elbow. Oh, sorry, no, this arm on the floor, and you're up on her elbow. Good. She's going to turn out her leg so that her knee is facing up to the ceiling. And she's just going to kick up and down 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Straight leg. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We're gonna hold this up here, and we're just gonna get small circles, 5 in each direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Circle the other way. 2, 3, 4, 5. Good, and let's switch sides. Good, and kicking, 1, good, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and circle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, other direction, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good, we're gonna go back to the first side, so she'll go back on her side, and now she's gonna keep that or the bottom leg bent just like she had before, and we're just gonna kick the foot forward and backwards. Yep, forward and backwards. 1, good, 2, 3, 4, we're doing 10, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good, let's switch sides. And swinging 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Excellent. Last little bit we're going to do is in a straddle position. So if straddle flexibility is a little bit of a struggle for you and you need to elevate your bottom, you can sit on a yoga block or any elevated surface just to get your hips up. So I'm going to have Crystal sit in a straddle position. And in the middle, we're going to start with our arms here, and I'm going to have her tuck one arm under and reach to the side, and then come back up to the middle and reach to the other side. Good. We're doing 5 on each side. 2, 2. Good. Really work on keeping both hips down on the ground if you can. 3. Good. 4. 5. Good. And 5. Awesome. So I'm going to have her now turn her torso and reach down to her one leg, really focusing on keeping this opposite hip down to the ground. From here, I'm going to have her tiptoe her fingers, walk it to the other side. Yep, trying to stay as low as you can, and to the other leg and square yourself out. Again, focus on that other hip, opposite hip, staying down to the ground. And she's going to walk back to the other side. Good. Walking. We're doing 5 on each side. This is her second one on the first side. 2. Good. And that's 3. We have 2 more on each side. Good. Last one. Awesome. And then I'm going to have her sit up tall. Hands are going to go behind her head, and we're just going to do some good mornings. Watch in this position that your knees don't roll forward. You want to make sure that you're really squeezing and activating and trying to keep that turnout locked position. If your knees start to rotate inward, you want to make your straddle just a little bit smaller. Okay? We're going to do 10 good mornings, trying to keep the back nice and flat. And 1, good. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and this one we're just going to hold and kind of hover over the ground, really trying to focus on keeping that flat back. Good, and she squeezed her legs and really worked that turnout. We're going to go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release, and bring your legs together. Good, and we'll do a final little stretch forward. Go ahead and lean forward. Give us a nice little stretch. We'll just hold here. Squeezing, squeezing. Good, and go ahead and release. Well, that was our 360 mobility. I hope you're feeling nice and open and enjoyed our class. Thanks for coming.